So Go-Go Power Rangers Rangers Forever is probably the best Go-Go issue I've read all year thus far, because in this issue everything comes together, and it's a very big issue, 42 pages, and just how everything comes together leading up to the Green with Evil stuff is pretty amazing, because I forgot later down the line we'd get here eventually, but when we get here eventually and we have that final page, it kind of made me cry a bit when everything was coming in full circle leading up to the fight with Tommy at the start of Green with Evil, and it's an awesome place to end this arc and do a big time skip once Tommy joins in issue 21. But anyway, let's talk about the issue. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you enjoyed it, and like I said, let's get right into this issue because it's a long one, it's a doozy. Let's start talking. So the issue opens up over 10,000 years ago in some sort of old command center where Alpha 5 is upset that Zordon isn't there. He says Zordon of Eltar is dead, and he makes this big speech how he sacrificed his life to imprison Rita and protect the universe, and how Alpha 5 did everything to save him of what he told him because Zordon gave him some instructions. And Alpha's making this very sad speech, then suddenly the big tube turns on and you get the origin of Zordon being trapped in the tube. And this is a really cool origin, how you see Zordon trapped in the tube, because you never see how it happens, but we finally see how it happens, and how it happens, it's one of the mysteries solved, but we always knew that he was trapped in the tube from fighting with Rita, so this is how we got there. I would love to see how Rita betrayed him. I'm guessing it's sort of like the movie how she betrayed him, not being a ranger, but some sort of trust thing that Zordon thought he could trust Rita, and Rita probably said, hey, we'll call a peace treaty, and that's how she betrayed him. That's my guess, that's my speculation and guess. We then cut to the present day where Alpha 1 in his giant Megazord form is on the way to the command center to make Zordon suffer, and the Rangers are still trapped in the barrier. And what I love about them being trapped in the barrier, you've got Zack, since issue 20, he's still going at it, he's still kicking the barrier even though it's gonna zap him, and that's kind of funny, he's still at it, he's still trying to figure something out in this situation. And they're all planning, and Billy says maybe the power blaster can disrupt the shield, and as Billy is making a plan, Goldar taunts him saying, how does it feel to be betrayed, humiliated, defeated, how does it feel, Rangers? And Kimberly, or is it Kimberly? Yeah, Kimberly goes, well, you're the expert, and I love Jason's line of saying, go home, Goldar. I kind of wish it was someone else saying it, like Kimberly, like just go home, Goldar, but Kimberly does sass him back, which is really good. And Jason says, if you're here when Alpha 1 returns, he'll just finish what he started and probably end up actually killing you. And Goldar says, I hate all of you, I dream the moment when I bathe in your blood and burn this pathetic world to ash. That is a cool line from Goldar, holy shit. But anyway, Goldar steps forward with his big sword and attacks the force field, setting the Rangers free, saying, I won't be robbed of some machine. Until then, Rangers, he leaves. So Goldar saved him in the end. And that's really interesting, because Ryan couldn't kill Goldar in last issue because Goldar's in the main series, so Goldar ended up helping the Rangers so they can fight Alpha 1, which is really interesting, and it's gonna come back and bite Goldar in the ass, trust me, we'll get there when we get there. So the Rangers summon their Dinozords, and as usual they take the fight to Alpha 1, and this is what I love about the comics, they use the Dinozords to fight Alpha 1 at first. They don't form the Megazord right away because they struggle and they get their asses handed to them because things aren't looking good for them. They do strategize a bit and manage to get one good hit on them, but Alpha 1 has the upper hand in this fight, making the Rangers need to summon the Megazord. But there's an interesting bit before they summon the Megazord where Jason gets knocked away by Alpha 1 and Trini wants to run towards him, but Billy says they need to regroup, but she's willing to run towards them and leave the others to check on Jason. And this is an interesting panel because it's going to come back later, trust me. I'm talking about all the stuff that is going to come back later because it's very important going forth in future issues and what it sets up in this issue. So the Rangers form the Megazord, And even the Megazord is still not enough to defeat Alpha 1, because the Megazord can hold its own, but the Megazord is still overpowered by Alpha 1, where Alpha 1 takes the sword from the Megazord and pins it down. And as it's have the Megazord pinned down, stabbing with its own sword, Alpha 1 has this really interesting line saying, "But if you die, he will simply find 5 new victims, and never bother to mention those who died before them." Hear that line, hear that line. Those who died before them. Who were the other rangers that died before who were the other 5 rangers that died before the Mighty Morphin team that we know now? Think about it, think about it. Issue 20. The first team that Zordon sent to the moon, and of course Alpha 1, because Zordon never told him about Alpha 1. But this is just a line that pays so much tribute to the past issues we've had in Mighty Morphin and Go-Go, and I might be looking too much into the line, but if you think about it, it does make sense. Zordon never told the others about Grace and that, about another ranger team. And those rangers did die, and Zordon never told him about it, so this line is just so cool in so many ways. And once again, I haven't done it, but I need to do it. Eleonora, once again, great artwork from her. She always kicks ass. Her Megazord panels are really cool, her fight scenes are really cool, the expressions on the characters we're going to see later down the line is really cool. Now this issue is split up between Eleonora and the brand new issue of Go-Go we'll be getting next month, but this issue just looks so good. I love it, and I'm going to miss Eleonora when she's not like drawing Go-Go anymore. I'm going to miss her. I loved her artwork, and I can't wait to see it again when I pick up the collected issues or go through my other trade backs when I need to get information. But her artwork throughout this few issues of Go-Go has been really good. I've really enjoyed it. So her artwork, always on point, and I'm gonna miss it. I'm really gonna miss it. So with the Megazord crippled and the Rangers unable to move with their Zords, they have to come up with a plan to stop Alpha 1. And Zordon asks if they can buy some time, and the Rangers say yes. And what the Rangers do, they deform the Megazord, and they form the tank mode of the Megazord. And the tank mode in the Megazord in Power Rangers is barely used, it's never used. It was probably used once or twice in the Sentai if they used the footage, but it was never used in battle. And to finally see the tank part of the Megazord, because the tank part of the Megazord was always in that long transformation sequence, but to see it finally used in battle is really cool. And I love how Ryan's thinking outside the box and using the tank form of the Megazord to actually do battle, because they never did it in the TV show. So do it in the comics where it can actually be useful and have some sort of use, because it was always in that transformation sequence, but to see Ryan use it in battle is really cool here. So the Rangers blast Alpha 1 with the tank form of the Megazord, and they're holding it back. They're holding it back so their master plan can come in, and it is the best master plan they've had. It's Alpha 5 in the power armor suit that Billy built over the past few issues. Now, I did not think this armor would pay off, especially seeing Alpha 5 wearing it. Alpha 5, okay, I know I say this every few issues. Can we please have a Lightning figure collection of Alpha 5 in that outfit, please? Please, Hasbro, if you're listening to this review somehow, please make a figure of Alpha 5 in that Lightning, like a Lightning figure. Just, I want that as a toy. I want that as a toy. I want it so badly. It looks so cool. I know we only see him flying around, but it is the coolest thing ever. I just want it as a toy. Please. So Alpha 5 makes a really good distraction against Alpha 1, where the Rangers charge up their dino cannons and blast the shit out of Alpha 1, sending him flying, and the battle's over. They managed to defeat him. They knocked him out of that shell of a Megazord he was using. Once again, the day is saved by the Power Rangers. So they go to check on what's going on, and Alpha 5 finds Alpha 1 saying, "Please, we can rebuild you. I know that we don't like each other, and I know that Zordon might have felt different about you." He just makes this big speech saying, "I can fix you, you can change your ways." And Alpha 1's like, "Fuck that shit," and he blows himself up. And this is a really cool panel when he blows himself up, especially when all the Rangers are scattering around. This is like my favorite panel one of my favorite panels by Eleonora, especially the expression of everyone like Trini and Kimberly, the faces they're making, well, all the faces they're making, because Alpha 1 is about to blow himself up, and everyone runs for cover. So Alpha 1, fuck, I keep saying the wrong Alpha, I'm so bad at this. So Alpha 1 blows himself up, and that's that way of writing that character out of the story, because they say he might return one day, but he blowed himself up, so I don't know how he's coming back unless he downloaded his brain into some sort of computer. But Alpha 1 is gone and he blew himself up, kaboom. And I do like this panel where everyone's just gasping for air, not gasping for air, they're just recovering from the explosion. And Trini has the best line once again. She's got the best line saying, "Yeah, I'm okay, but I landed on my blade blaster." So that line made me chuckle. That line made me chuckle. And Zach has this big speech, not a big speech, but he goes, "Should have known you were creepy looking from the beginning, and I was dumb enough to think you were a friend figure." So Zach sort of trusted him, because Zach is the good guy in this situation. He thought Alpha 1 was someone they could trust, even though he was creepy looking, and the creepy looking vibes that he had did give away this guy was kind of going to be a villain a bit sooner than later. But either way, Alpha 1, some people say he wasn't an interesting villain. He was a bit sort of anticlimactic. People thought they could have written him better, but Alpha 1 was interesting while he was around. So Alpha 1 is gone, and that wraps up that villain for now. We then cut to the Moon Palace, where Goldar is begging and playing. He's saying, "Please don't take my life, please don't take my life. I know this is our war and a machine nearly took out our foes. I'm so sorry." He's begging. He's basically begging. And Rita's about to kill him. Rita's probably going to kill him and slaughter him. And Rita's mother, Faina, steps in saying, "My star, please don't kill him. I know you feel overwhelmed, but I know there is still mercy in your heart." And Rita's like, "Mercy, would you like to see how merciful I can be, mother?" And rips off Goldar's wings. Now this is important. This is very important why Goldar's wings got ripped off, because in the TV show, I think it's mostly due to the Sentai footage, the character Grifolza, or Japanese Goldar, he has his wings folded in most of the time, and I don't remember the reason, but something about his wings are either folded in or he loses them as well, and it's never explained in Power Rangers. So when the Goldar costume first shows up in Mighty Morphin, he's got his wings in one episode and then they're gone in the next. So this is sort of explaining why Goldar has no wings in Mighty Morphin, and he later grows them back when Lord Zed gives them back to him. But Goldar loses his wings here, and this sort of sets up the template for Goldar not having his wings later down the line. So Rita then approaches her mother, and Faina makes this big speech. It's a really heartwarming speech saying she believes that Rita brought her back so she can guide her back into the light and make her a good person again, because Faina thinks that Rita is going to be a good person later down the line, and that is true. Rita does become the Mystic Mother in Power Rangers Mystic Force. So Rita looks at her, and then she goes, "I hope it wouldn't come to this, but perhaps, yes, Mother, you can help me." And this is an interesting power that the comic reveals that Rita has. She can bring anyone back from beyond, but the circumstances must be perfect, the spirit must be strong, and the soul must be worthy. And then she looks at her mother, and she goes, "The sacrifice of your life energy will unlock the power coin, and you will do more for me in death than you ever did for me in life." Holy shit, she's going to sacrifice her mother to power up the power coin. This sort of explains how the dragon coin has the dragon shield when we see it later down the line, because when we first saw it, it didn't have the shield. So a lot of people were predicting this, that her shield would be some sort of like life energy or life force powering up the green power suit, the green power coin. So this is interesting. And Faina looks at her saying, this endeavor, I promise it will not end the way you want." And Rita just goes, "Only one way to find out for sure." And Faina's begging, saying, "I'll always be watching over you, because I know one day you're going to be good and you will be redeemed, which, like I said earlier, Rita was the mystic mother. And as this speech is going on, you have Golda like crying in the corner. He's like having a mental breakdown because his wings just got clipped off, and it's an adorable panel of just Golda just cowering in fear. I feel sorry for him because he's like cowering in fear, and you can probably hear the noises that Kerrigan Morgan would say as he's cowering in fear, the noises he would make as Golda as he's cowering in the corner. But Rita sacrifices her mother to power up the green power coin, and that's the end of her. That's that plotline wrapped up, and I didn't think it would go that way. I really didn't think it would go that way. Rita sacrificing her own mother. That's cold as ice, man. As cold as ice. But now we have the green power coin powered up, and that's that plotline wrapped up. So Golda goes, my Empress, and Rita goes, get out before I take more than just your wings. So Rita's pissed. She's pissed. I feel like she didn't want to do it, but she did it anyway. Like, Rita's still got that, she's maybe got that some sort of a guilty conscience that she just sacrificed her own mother, and she's dealing with that, so anger is her way of dealing with it. So there's that plotline wrapped up. A few weeks later, the juice bar is back to normal, and things are somewhat back to normal. I'm guessing normal for the Power Rangers. They're fighting monsters and saving the world. And Billy's at the juice bar talking to Ernie, and Ernie says, hey, did you see that the Rangers saved Italy earlier? When did the Rangers save Italy? I'm asking the viewers, I'm asking you guys. In issue 5 with that flashback issue. This is making me giddy just talking about it, because this has so many throwbacks to like stuff that was leading up to where it's leading. And if you know what happens in issue 5, it's the whole Zack getting the green power coin. Well, he gets offered to have the green power coin. So this is when this part is taking place, and it's so interesting. So Trini is helping Jason train for the martial arts expo, and Trini decides to break up with Jason. They decide to break it off together, mostly because during the fight with Alpha 1, when Jason was in trouble, Trini bailed on the others and thought about running straight to Jason. She wasn't thinking about the others. And she says, the more time we spend together, the more of it's a weakness, so I feel like we should break up. And it's a sad moment. I did love them as a couple. I'm gonna admit it. I mean, this made me more of a Jason and a Trini shipper more than ever seeing their relationship in the comics. I mean, I love their interactions they had together. They were so, like they were a cute couple. I gotta admit, they were a really cute couple. The way Ryan was writing them, it was just so good. So they say they're just going to be friends, they're going to break off the relationship, and they say they'll always have Brielle. And then we cut to Zack, where Zack is walking on the streets, and he's jumped by Golda and a bunch of putties, and we know where that's going. That's going to the issue 5 stuff, where Zack gets offered to be the Green Ranger, but he turns down the offer. And then, after that, we've got Kimberly talking to that school therapist lady about her parents' divorce, and I don't really want to talk about that stuff because it's an interesting plot thread, because it does take place in the show with Trini's like relationship with her parents. I think they did a few episodes focusing on it, but it wraps up that thread where I don't know, it's hard to explain. I don't get where Ryan's getting with this, because I can't remember much about the Kimberly and her parents divorcing stuff in the TV show. I think it was brought up once or twice, but here it's brought up several times to make Kimberly really, really fleshed out, and I really do like that she's like caught in the middle between her parents' divorce and being a Power Ranger. So it's hard to explain how I feel, but they talk about that and they somewhat wrap it up, I guess. So yeah. Then we cut to the command center, where it's the conversation that they have in issue 5, where Zack tells Zordon about the offer that Rita made to him, and they're going to keep it a secret between them. I don't think Zack's even told anyone in the comics of Mighty Morphin what happened that day. He did talk to his future self in Shattered Grid, but it still hasn't been brought up yet. So unfortunately, it's something that Zack has yet to tell his team. Now we then cut to the Rangers at the school, and I feel like we did have another bit of a time skip here, like maybe a few months or maybe a few weeks, because Trini's hair is a lot longer because throughout Go-Go, and I feel dumb for not mentioning it, Trini's got shorter hair in Go-Go, and now she's got longer hair like she does in the show, so I feel dumb for not bringing that up, but Trini's got longer hair, so she looks more like her show counterpart, but I am going to miss short hair Trini. I did like her with the short hair. So, these next few pages is very, very much like the very first issue where it's got a blurb about the Rangers, and these blurbs are all sort of talking about stuff we've read throughout the comics. So it talks about Kimberly, and it says to Kimberly, what would you say to your future self? Nice haircut. And that made me laugh, that made me chuckle for like a good minute once I read it and I looked into it, and that made me laugh. That was a nice little wink wink nod nod Ranger Slayer Kim. And then so this wraps up also the Kimberly and Matt stuff, where Kimberly walks up to Matt and says, I'm sorry, and gives him a hug, and Matt says, me too. So I'm guessing that's the Matt and Kimberly storyline wrapped up. I'm guessing they're not a couple anymore and they officially broke it off. Yeah. We then cut to Billy and Trini, and like I said, Trini's got longer hair. And yeah. And it's also talking about issue 0, or is it issue 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where Bulk is doing the Ranger podcast called Ranger Station. And I was really hoping that Bulk or Skull, they were trying to pitch ideas around for the comic, and they would have called it Ranger Danger Podcast. And that would have made me laugh. If they called it Ranger Danger Podcast and said, no, that's taken, that would have made me laugh. That would have got a good chuckle out of me. But so Bulk and Skull are forming that podcast, and it's much like the very first issue of Mighty Morphin. So we get several panels of the Rangers. You see Zach, and then it cuts to Jason, where Jason is training, and the last 2 pages are really interesting because the last 2 pages are word for word the first scene in Green with Evil Part 1. If you watch Green with Evil Part 1 and then you read this panel, that is word for word what happens in Green with Evil. And I might even put the audio in Green with Evil and match it, because this is word for word what happens in Green with Evil. So if you don't know where Go-Go Power Rangers Rangers Forever ends, it ends with Tommy and Jason first meeting face to face, having their spar, about to throw hands and legs, and it is like a magical way to end this issue, end this arc, end everything that's wrapped up in the past 20 plus issues of Go-Go, ending with this one panel, because I was wondering where would they end it, and they ended it like on the perfect spot, because this is Jason and Tommy about to throw hands, and then next month we're going to get issue 21 where Tommy's already a part of the team. So this is like the best way, like the perfect way to end this issue and end these arcs, and it's magical. That's all I've got to say. It's like a magical way to end it. This was amazing. But anyway, that's my review or my recap of Go-Go Power Rangers Forever Rangers. This was a really solid issue. You probably heard me like fanboying and gushing over all these moments. This was a really solid issue, and I'm probably going to wrap things up here because I don't know how long I've been talking for. Well, I can sort of see it as I'm recording on Audacity, but I don't know how long it's going to be once I chop it down and edit it, because this seems like I've been talking forever. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys around. And tell me what you thought of the issue, because I would love to hear your thoughts. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.